when you have a plan in your head to say, no, let's go this route, yeah, it was intimidating.
Yeah.
It's definitely intimidating, but it turned out to be one of the biggest blessings. If I'm having a really hard season or I'm having a hard day, sometimes I'll work that evening and I'll go back and I will wait for those moments. I'm like, that's why I do it. So I'll say it, I'm a recovering people pleaser.
What's up, guys? Lift and Love.
Lift and Love here. Where did you pull this question from? Why is that? Lift Love. Crochet. We out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lifting Love podcast. You are awesome. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. This is the best podcast. I'm just saying that. Also a little biased. Today's podcast is brought to you by Lake Hickory Pub Marina, where lake and life meet. And today, we have a very special guest on. It is the director of Parks and Recreation of the Town of Sawmills. It's Mr. Tanner Greene. How are you?
What's up, man?
Dude, I am so grateful that you're on, dude. This has been a long time coming.
Dude, I'm living the dream. I'm happy to be here, happy to chat.
So, before we do anything, I want to shout out Cameron Bixby. He's really the one who was like, you need to get Tanner on the podcast. First podcast?
First podcast.
Let's go. Let's go. I love, there's something about when people come on, they're like, this is the first podcast I've done, just hypes me up. So thank you for being on the Lifting Love podcast.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. I'll tell you, Cameron Bixby's my hero.
She's amazing.
I'll tell you that. She's incredible.
One of the most amazing people I know.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So how we start every podcast, because, people out there living under a rock, they might not know who you are, this mega star, superstar. For the people who don't know who you are, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so Tanner Greene, I'm the director of Parks and Recreation with the Town of Sawmills. Born and raised here in Caldwell County, lived here my entire life. I'm passionate about the outdoors, passionate about working with people. I'm a husband, a father. I'm just a big fan of this community. I'm proud to be a part of it.
And that's kind of where I want to start. Didn't know that you were born and raised here. Did not know that. So that's a great segue into my first question. Amazing place out here. Incredible. Love it. I'm someone who's only been here for about 3 years now. So I am a transplant, as you call it, where it's like you go from somewhere else and bring it here. Being a native and being someone who was born and raised here, what are your favorite things about this community?
So I love the fact that in my opinion, there's always something to do. I'm passionate about the outdoors. I'm an avid fisherman. We're right here on the banks of Lake Hickory today. It's one of my favorite places in the entire world. You're a quick shot up to the mountains, Wilson's Creek area, all of that, and you have access to great outdoor opportunities and great opportunities to connect with people. And I just never envisioned myself going anywhere else. A lot of people go through school and they'll go to college and they'll move away. I was the polar opposite. I love where I'm at. I just don't have a desire to go anywhere else.
Did you ever have an opportunity to go somewhere else and you turned it down, or did you go somewhere else, tried it and didn't like it, or you just have never attempted?
So it's a crazy. My story is rather unique. I didn't have the desire to go anywhere else.
Genuinely never
No.
had I want to go to Charlotte. I want to go to this place.
This wasn't my thing. I'm small town through and through.
Yeah.
And the fact that what I'm doing now fell in my lap at the time it did, and the way God's plan aligned it was a blessing. And so no desire to really go anywhere else. Desire to be here and raise my family here in Caldwell County.
And but before we jump into your job, what did you do in college? Was there when you were finishing high school? Was there a roadmap? Did you have a vision board of I'm going to do X,
Dude,
Y, and Z?
I had a vision. It was not what good Lord had in plan for me. So I played baseball my entire life. That was my passion. 4 years old to 18 years old.
What position?
So I was an outfielder. I'm short, and I was at one point fast. At one point. So I was an outfielder. It's all I ever did. I was in love with it. Spring, summer, fall, winter, it's all we did. So when that came to a conclusion, and I knew I wanted to go to Appalachian State University, I wanted to be involved with sports. Not at the way I am now. It's, again, how it all worked out. So I wanted to be a physical therapist. I wanted to go in exercise science. I wanted to work with athletes. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And it never materialized. I wasn't happy with what I was doing, the classes I was in. It just wasn't something I envisioned myself doing. And then the opportunity to make the jump into recreation fell in my lap. I have a family member who's been in the same role as me at a bigger municipality and was able to see what they've accomplished and know, wow, I get to potentially be a part of this every day. I get to interact with people, and I get to be around sports, and I get to be, hopefully at that point, I would love to be in this area. So halfway through my time at App, I made the jump into the recreation management program, and
Oh, so you switched like
I switched mid-tenure
Wow.
and jumped into it.
How scary was that? Was it something that you went in and just fully embraced, or was it something that you kind of had to like still fight and make amends with?
When you have a plan in your head for the journey you see your life going, to say, no, let's go this route, yeah, it was intimidating.
Yeah.
It's definitely intimidating, but it turned out to be one of the biggest blessings that I've ever gotten to experience.
Do you think that was one of like the crossroads for you?
Yeah.
As far as your life and your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I look back now and where my life would have gone if I'd have followed certain paths and career options and choices. If I would have continued pursuing that, where I would be, would I be happily married with a 2-year-old boy who just turned 2? Would I be in Caldwell County still? Because I would have been forced to potentially go somewhere else if there wouldn't have been the opportunity. So that was a big crossroads, but it was a great crossroads.
And then so you go into what was the program again?
So it's recreation management. It's it's got a bunch of different entities within it. There's Parks and Recreation, which I went into. There's tourism. There's I can be like camp counselor, stuff like that. But I went in focusing on Parks and Recreation with the desire to jump into that once I realized that's what I wanted to do.
That's so awesome. So, and what did the family member do at the other place? He did exactly what you're doing now.
Yeah, same role, a much bigger municipality. And
did you like shadow him at all or them at all?
Kind of. Not necessarily involved, just more through mutual conversations about what you do and what he does and what that looks like potentially. Because at the time where I'm at now, I didn't know that was going to be a thing. It was like, hey, I'm going to get into recreation somewhere in Caldwell County and work my way up from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then so you said fall in your lap. How did
man. So I graduated from App in December of 2020. Thick of COVID, and sure enough, the Town of Sawmills is building out a Parks and Recreation department. It didn't have one.
I was going to say it didn't have one before.
So it had support. It supported the Optimist, which ran the Parks and Recreation. Incredible people. My predecessor was retiring. And so our town manager wanted to make the jump into it being its own department. And
at this time you graduated already?
I was graduating in December, started in January.
Wow.
Literally. Now let me tell you, my title might have been director of Parks and Recreation, but I was a director of one. I was a department of one. And thankfully I had incredible support from our public works staff. They took such good care of me and guided me in the areas I wasn't familiar with. Because I had no knowledge of previous experience in local government. So they guided me, our town manager guided me, all the staff just took me in and took care of me and gave me the opportunity to build out to what we're at now. So it was a blessing to be able to fall into that role.
Do you think it helped you get into the role and get acclimated, that it was just you and wasn't like you went in with a big staff and it's like this big change for everybody? And like, do you think that helped you in your journey to where you are now?
1,000%. Going through college, my grandfather owns a construction company. I worked with him, through school. I guess we'd never say a big boy job, and doing stuff there. So I'd never managed people. I'd never been in a leadership role. So being able to step into a department of one and learn the ins and outs of it. So when the time came to hire staff, I could better serve them was huge. Yeah. I think if you'd have put me in a role with overseeing people, I think I would have not made poor decisions, but it would have been a very big learning curve. Because now if I was to go into an organization with a lot of people, I would do it much differently than I probably would have done it if I was 2 months out of college and just jumping in all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go. But, it was unique. So being able to build the department, my first office was in the back of a concession stand.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look where you are now.
We're getting there, man. But that was the fun part, getting able to start there and look at where we've came in just a short amount of time.
So do you think, well, let me ask you, how different would life look now if like that opportunity didn't arise? Was there another avenue you were going down, or you're kind of just biding your time and waiting for an opportunity to open up like it did at Sawmills?
I think I would have fell in somewhere doing something, but looking back on the people I get to be around every day and the people I get to be around and influence, and the youth we get to work with in Sawmills, the coaches, the parents, that itself was a blessing. You know, I never thought of it. I never thought of it. What if this didn't happen? It just happened, and we have just took off running ever since.
That's awesome. I think that some of the coolest stories are the things that just happen. Like sometimes life is just the best, or God is just the best producer, the best writer of a story.
Yeah.
Because like there's no such thing as coincidences. There's no such thing as just a lucky break. Like things happen for a reason. Things happen how they're supposed to happen. And it's so funny because like what happens if that doesn't happen? Now it's like you're waiting for another opportunity to come around, and who knows if you're even in this position here. Maybe you have to, like you said, move somewhere else. Sawmills, I think it, like we were talking before, it kind of is a little bit of a slept-on town because it's like 321, you know, it's there, but like you kind of have to go up and make a left. You're not driving through the heart of it like, you know, a Lenore or like a Granite. Even Granite's kind of a little off to the right. How awesome is the town of Sawmills? Let's just start there.
It's such a great place to work. It's such a great place to work. It's a great place to live if you live there. It's funny. We're a bedroom community. We'd love for you to leave here and work somewhere else. That's why we put such a priority in our parks and recreation, our events, the amenities we offer to our residents to say, hey, man, this is a great place to live. Look at what we can go and do within this small radius. You know, we're not as big as some of the other municipalities as far as what the amenities we have yet, but it's a great place to live. I think it's a great place to work and to serve the community.
Over the past, you said, so you came in January 21. So 4 years, officially 4 years. Yeah, that's awesome. What has been some of the biggest changes you've seen over that time, just in Sawmills in general? Yeah,
so I'll tell you, I have a little folder that I kind of keep up with my notes and stuff in. And one of the biggest things is I put each season we play like baseball or softball or something, I'll put the numbers in where we're at. And it's a track of where we're at, where we've been, and where we're headed. First season, spring of 21, coming out of COVID. So there's still some headaches there with how we're managing that. New leadership. I don't know what to expect. So I had 48 kids.
Wow.
I had 48 kids. Let's jump forward to the spring of 23, 285 kids.
Wow. And do you have an estimate on what you guys are doing this year?
I'd like to hit the 300 mark. We've got about a week left, but I'd really like to hit the 300 mark because I want people to see what we have to offer and the product that we put out. And you know, the beautiful thing about Parks and Recreation is all these municipalities do a lot of similar things. We all work together. That's the beautiful part of it. Yeah. I can lean on these other municipalities if I need help with something, they'll help me, and vice versa. So, you know, but jumping back to Sawmills is such a good place to live, such a good place to recreate, such a good place to spend time. Believe it or not, you know, we have one of the top disc golf courses in the region.
I didn't even know that.
On the banks of Lake Rhodhius. That's a very, very highly played disc golf course.
Wow.
We've got sports fields, we've got multi-purpose fields. You know, we've got a 48-acre property that's sitting there waiting to be developed with a bunch of other exciting stuff that's in the future. So,
how much do you think? Because there's a lot of excitement when there's a bunch of things that could and are going to continue to happen. Mm-hmm. How much excitement does that bring to your job? As far as maybe we're not 100% where we want to be, but like you said, you have all these amenities to offer now and all these amenities that are going to be coming in the future. How exciting does that make your job?
Getting to wake up every day and go to work loving what you do is huge. I, to a fault sometimes, really stay 10,000 feet above. I like to see the bigger picture, where we're headed. And that can fault me on the back end sometimes with how I handle more day to day, because I'm so focused on our projects and things we want to do. But it's really exciting, and thankfully we have great leadership in the town. We have a great manager, we have great council, and that's a really big plus to see. They see the vision, they see where we're headed, and that itself carries its weight in gold.
So we'll jump back into Sawmills a little later, but we want to talk a little bit more about you. You're a husband, a father. How have those two titles changed your life?
So I got really lucky. I'm married way out of my league. I'm married way out of my league, man. So I married my high school sweetheart. We've been together since 2014. We got married in 2019, and we had our first son in 2023. Becoming a father was one of the biggest life shifts I've ever experienced. But it's the most incredible thing. I know we're talking about you. You're in the thick of it, man.
Yeah.
But it's the most incredible thing to be a dad. And now he's at the age, my son, where he'll run up and, Dad, and he'll want me and go do things with me. And it's really shaped my outlook on life and how I carry myself, how I care for my family, how I provide for my family. It's so much bigger than just me. It's so much bigger. It's bigger. It's about my wife, Taylor, who 2025 Teacher of the Year, Whitnell Elementary School.
Oh!
Big shout out. Yeah. Who's incredible, and our son Fisher, who is just growing and developing. It's the biggest blessing to be able to serve them and lead them.
Before you had a child and it's just you and your wife, was there talks about having a kid? Was it kind of just something that happened? Like what led you guys to ultimately have a child?
Definitely, we had talked about it.
Yeah.
We had been married. We had lived the I call it the dink life, dual income, no kids. We had lived that life, and we started to feel the gap. And it just happened. We're ready. We're ready to take this jump. I think as a father, it's very intimidating. My wife she's the most incredible mother, and she was from the start. Where I felt like it took me time to learn how to be a dad or how to be a good dad.
It's so good. That mother's instinct, just like the second after my son was born, it was like she just like knew what to do. Mm-hmm. She was just like, okay, boom, just like right into him. Just like, what do I do?
You need me to grab something? Can I help? So yeah, it was a big shift, but it was the best shift I could have ever imagined.
Can you imagine your life right now without your son?
No.
It's such
and I'll tell you, man, I'm an only child. Mm-hmm. So I grew up kind of going and doing what I want when I wanted. And, that slowdown was a big adjustment for me now, initially. Knowing that, you kind of have to put some of the stuff on the brakes. And we still went and did a bunch. But as far as like me and my stuff I put on the brakes. And now I'm doing those same things I did, but he's coming with me. We're going fishing. We're going on the boat. We're going and doing all these things. Like it's a blast because I'm getting to live it with the miniature version of me now.
Is he like 100% your twin?
Yeah, you see pictures. No denying he's mine. Yeah, there's no denying. And poor Taylor, all that work to come out looking like Dad. I feel so bad for her. But
what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned being a father?
Patience.
Did you not have it before, and it's something that just like got even better, or was it something that was just like not there at all?
I thought I had it. I thought I had it. It's not even the stuff early on. You have to learn how to understand and read them. Why are they crying? Why is this happening? Early on, I didn't understand. I couldn't wrap my head around why this child was crying, or and then sure enough, my lovely wife knew exactly why, and she could handle it. But now it's more of he's starting to poke and pry a little bit and push the buttons, and having to understand that he's growing and developing and learning these things while setting boundaries, obviously. But, it took me a while to understand how my son works because, you think if a child does something wrong, you want to, don't do that, jump on him kind of thing. My son didn't respond to that well. So if I just, calmly and just try to explain to him why we don't do that or something, that's been a huge shift for me. Because, I didn't understand I've started to understand better how he thinks and how he operates. because he's growing, he's developing so much every day. So I don't know. Patience has been a big one, but I'm getting there, man. We revisit this time next year. I might be even better at it. But
and it's still like, man, it's something I really need to get better at.
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's something so interesting because, the only thing I can relate to it is, and it's a poor example, but it's having a dog. It is like this thing that you need to make sure doesn't die and stays alive, but you don't know why it's crying. You don't know why it's this, that, and the third. But it's like that love. Like to just look at this human one day that's going to be this bigger human with a personality and all this stuff. Again, I'm way behind where you're at. It's just unbelievable. Like the miracle of life. But yeah, all credit to my wife. She just knows exactly what's wrong. She's like, yeah, this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's crying.
Help.
Yeah, help. Panic. Having your wife be in the school system, it kind of seems like you guys just have a love for the community, a love for, the younger generation. Because, you're in Parks and Recreation, but it's like you're doing a lot of the stuff of like sports and athletics and making sure kids have programs to be able to have something to do. And that's super impactful for the community, for the parents in the community, to know that their kids are going somewhere safe, to play a sport, to X, Y, and Z. Even like the parks that are here, making sure that they're nice and upkept, all that stuff. Did you just always have such a love for the community? And when did it really get to the point where you're like, I really want to help the kids in this community?
I've always loved this area, but I think stepping into this role and seeing the impact you can make. The impact you can make really propelled me forward. We craft, and I'll harp on, baseball and softball because that's what's coming up now. I want these kids, win or lose, whatever. I'm competitive, but at that age, let's learn the game and let's have fun.
100%.
It's not going to be perfect. There's bumps. We make mistakes as programmers and directors. That we're human, but I want to put out the best possible product I can for that child. Parents, don't get me wrong. I appreciate y'all. I'm not here for y'all. I'm here for the kids. So we do really, really nice jerseys. We play music. Like we treat it like a crawdads game.
That's awesome.
We announce the kids when they come up to bat, and seeing a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid look up at the press box when somebody calls their name out and just light up is the most fulfilling thing. And at that point, it's like, if I'm having a really hard season or I'm having a hard day, sometimes I'll work that evening, and I'll go back and I will wait for those moments. I'm like, that's why I do it.
And that's what I was going to ask. Is it like, how rewarding is it? Because I feel like there's probably a lot more that nobody knows going on behind the scenes, where it's like you have all this paperwork and emails and you're trying to get things approved with the town and blah, blah, blah. And you're working on partnerships to get sponsors to even be able to do all this stuff. Because it's got to be super stressful that nobody talks about. But going with all that stuff that happens behind the scenes, like how rewarding is it to just see like, man, like these kids, not only are they learning something, they have that stuff that's entertaining them and they're safe while they're doing it, but they're also like enjoying this amazing sport in our community. Like that's got to be so rewarding.
So I'll tell you, my judgment of success in Parks and Recreation is much different than others, I think. And some say it's not controversial, but my thought is I don't judge my success based on the dollars I bring in. For Parks and Recreation, it's a service to the community. My success is when I see that parking lot full, I see kids running around playing on the playground, I see the baseball fields full, I see families connecting, spending time together. That's what's worth it. Takes all of the bad, the negative, the behind the scenes that nobody will ever see, the tears, the stressors of making sure that these kids have a perfect experience, a near perfect experience. I learned that it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But a near perfect experience, and to be able to enjoy what they do. That's rewarding.
So let me ask you, it seems like that's your favorite part of the job. It's your least favorite part of the job.
It's going to sound crazy. Sawmills they take such good care of me. I think, the thing I struggle the most with is it's not our interaction with our staff, our council, our leadership. That is the dream. It's so incredible to have everybody on board and understand what we're doing. I had to learn how to properly handle conflict. In particular, you deal with a lot, a officials make a bad call, a parent feels like their child's being wronged, and it's very important. Some things we can adjust, but I had to learn how to understand that people want to be heard. They want to have their concerns voiced, but understanding that some you can control, some you can't control, some you will never make happy. That was the hardest part. So I'll say it. I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Dude, it's such a good line.
Such a good line. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because working in government, working in local government and public service, you're not going to make everybody happy. Early on, when I had my first sort of instances of conflict and people were frustrated about this, and this, I shut down, dude. It was a struggle to understand that I can't solve this. Their opinion on this instance is not going to be adjusted. I'll help and I'll try to mitigate as best I can, but some people you're just not going to make happy. And that's hard.
Yeah.
And it's still hard. I'm not good at it now. I'm getting better. But I really, if I could make everybody's experience, every parent, every child, a perfect experience, I would do it. But as bad as it hurts me to say, it can't be done.
That's such a good line, because I feel like it's so easy to fall into that space of being a people pleaser, because it's like, I think it's just like second nature to be like, I don't want you to be angry at me. I don't want to have a bad conversation. I want you to have a bad taste in your mouth, but I want to also be able to do what I have to do. And that's such a good line. I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Yeah.
It's such a good one. It's just awesome what you guys are able to do with Sawmills and in the community in general. And I really do hope you guys reach 300, because
That's the goal.
that'd be awesome. But that's not all you do. You're also an ambassador with the Caldwell Chamber, as I recall.
Yep.
Obviously, in the role you're in, you need to be in the community. You need to be active in the community. What has being a part of the Caldwell Chamber, not only representing Sawmills, but being an ambassador to represent the chamber as well, what has that helped you personally in your career, and also what has it done for Sawmills?
So the beautiful thing about my role with an ambassador is I don't work in the private sector. I work in government, so I have more. I don't go to connect with businesses in order to get business. I want you to know who I am. I want you to send your kids to come play with us and play sports with us. But I go because I love interacting with people. And I want to learn how these local businesses operate. I want to learn what the ins and outs of their lives are like and how their businesses are ran. Because I think it's incredible. I think Parks and Recreation is one part of it, but being a public servant, working in government, serving people is a huge aspect of what we do in general. And I just love being around people. So getting to interact with that on a much bigger level, like with the chamber, has been a lot of fun. And getting to meet new people. I've met so many new people through it, and get to connect with them and see what they do, and ways we can. How can we partner? What can we do? I'm not looking for. It's not monetary, but what can I do to boost your business? What can we do? What can we do to help each other? We're all in the same goal. We all want to serve people.
Yeah. I think that's such an important thing too, because it's like you said, we are all serving people, regardless if you're an entrepreneur or you work, like you said, yourself in the government or even a private sector. We all service other people. It's like yes, it's great to get business, drum up new business, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like we work for everybody else. Like you're not representing the town of Sawmills for your own benefit. Like you're trying to create these programs and these sporting events to be able to give enjoyment to other people, to have kids not only love the sport that they play, but also get better at it, learn, and give them that experience of, maybe this is something I want to do for the rest of my life, or at least attempt to go professionally or X, Y, and Z, whatever that looks like. But it all started at this T-ball level, at this sporting event where I'm getting my name called and announced, now batting number 5. Again, I think it's just so cool. But going back to the chamber part, where it's like, for you, it's probably the perfect medium, where it's like, you can help people. Other people, you could probably be more of a connector. And then you also can get business, but it's not like getting business. It's like we have something to offer you, more so your child, but more so your child, to offer them a place to play and stuff like that. But you're in this medium where it's like, you're not really asking for monetary thing. Like, if anything, you're just asking for, hey, just remember Sawmills next time, you get a shot. How good of a position is that to be in compared to like someone like me who has services and like it is a monetary thing that I'm looking for instead of like hey, here's my business card, let's chat up sometime. Because it's a lot different,
Yeah. How can I help you?
Exactly.
That's it. That's it. And it's such a good feeling to be able to do that. And nothing against people that have to brother service. Those are crucial. That's what the chamber's for.
Yeah.
But to be a liaison and to be able to connect people with that, get them connected. Hey, let's do a grand open. Let's do a ribbon cutting. Let's get you out there. That's what I like about it.
It's just it's got to be such a good position to be in because like for me it's like networking, building relationships. That's great, but at the end of the day, most people are there to sell you on something. Mm-hmm. But for you not to have to sell anything, you're just talking. You're just speaking the good truth. You're speaking the Sawmills gospel.
I'm shaking babies and kissing hands.
I know you did bring up your faith before.
Yeah.
How much has your faith played in your journey as far as everything that you've done?
It's a foundational basis for how I live my life. It can't do anything without the good Lord, Jesus, and then just take care of me and my family, and some of the trials and struggles we went through to have that solid rock to stand on has been huge, and a good church family, a good pastor, a good place to call home, has been incredible.
And have you gone to the same church since you've grown up?
So I've went to the same church since I was a freshman in college.
Wow.
Freshman college. So granted, growing up playing baseball, we were on the ball field every day on the weekend. So we went to church in the parking lot on Sunday mornings listening to them talk. So once that kind of ended, and we fell in love and found our forever church, it's been a blessing ever since. And be able to pour into others and be poured into and have a pastor who is so loving and caring and wants to connect with you on a more personal level rather than just preach at a pew on Sunday morning has been a blessing.
And I think a big thing with, especially out here, so I'm from up north. Mm-hmm. Church is a little different because there's just so many. And out here, it seems like there's a lot. But the biggest thing about church out here is community. Mm-hmm. And how much has community helped you, and specifically speaking of your church community, because it is that like fundamental relationship with the people who also are in the same faith as you, and it's a family is really what it is. Like, how crucial is that, and like how connected are you to church still?
Two really important things with that is our goal as a church community is not to stay within that church community, it's to go and make disciples. Staying in our little community is great. That's awesome. I love connecting with y'all. Let's go meet people. Let's go talk to people. I'm not talking about shove it down their throats. Let's just talk to people. I don't have to wear the church I go to, Fellowship Baptist shirt. Just Tanner. I want you to see my faith through me and how I carry myself as a person. That's what's important.
So more indirectly,
yeah.
Like, you don't want to just be like, "Hey, I'm Tanner Greene. You should come to church now. Come on, let's go." Instead, it's like, dude, that guy Tanner's really cool, man. I wonder who he is and why is he like that. And it's like, well, you realize that it through faith and through the man you are. It's like, cool. Like, hey, church, this community, family, like that. That's a great example because I feel like for me, a lot of the people I met. And again, I've had some poor church experiences, but it's been more of that in-your-face type of experience where you're just like, hey, I'm just going to live through the Lord and just let His word go out. But it's not me bringing people or trying to force people into it.
I'm not fishing you. I just want you to see it. It starts a conversation, we talk about it, but it's not going to be something I'm going to shove down your throat. And I'll tell you another great thing about our church community is when I was sitting in a pediatric intensive care unit when my son was 6 months old, having a cranial surgery, I knew I had a congregation praying for him.
That's awesome.
When you have people lifting you up when you're in one of your biggest struggles, it's incredible.
And I think that's the greatest thing about people is the ability to, when there's something going on, people step up.
Yeah. And I don't care what church you go to, what religion you are, people, all the negative connotations you see inside people, there's good people.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
that's in everything. Good people, man. Yeah. And people want to help other people. And I want to see, and so that's where I guess I'm not, I don't say naive, but I feel like I try to see the good in everybody. Regardless of who you are, there's good in you.
I mean, like, there literally is good in every single person. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I also am a recovering people pleaser as well.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
It's so hard because there are a lot of people who like to take advantage or try to take advantage. So it's one of those things where it's like it's tough. You got to find that balance. But when you get into a good community, like you're talking, a good church family, it's awesome just to be able to show faith by not even having to even really talk about it because you're just showing it, setting that example.
It's truly when you hear it say, "Come as you are," that's what it is. I can show up on my worst day. You can see the worst version of Tanner, but I know there's people still love me. I know good Lord still loves me. I know I'm taken care of.
I would like to jump back into baseball real quick.
Let's do it.
Because I know how big was baseball for you?
It was my life. It was the thing I woke up wanted to go and do, the thing I went to bed thinking of for 14 years. And it's huge in this county in general. Caldwell has always been a baseball county. I got to go play at South Caldwell High School, play for Coach Jeff Parham, and who is one of the most incredible coaches, in my opinion, ever, who helped shape you not as a baseball player, but as a man. Coach Jeff Parham, Coach Kenny Ellison, and a whole bunch of other people that impacted that. It was, I hope, I don't want my son to live the same childhood as me, but I would love for him to enjoy it and get to see the same things I got to experience and all that. But it was awesome.
I think it's so cool because it seems like you had just such a good experience in life in this county and just obviously baseball. Only reason I ask is I was an avid baseball player. Not as long. I was only in it for about 10 years. I was in it from like 4 to 14. I didn't go really much into high school, but it was my life. It was everything. It was all I could think about, all I could consume, like you were talking about. Any aspirations of going pro? Like just, that, having that wiffle ball bat in your hand as you're just imagining it being the bottom of the ninth inning, 2 outs, 3-2
You give me
count,
culture
bases
just talking
loaded.
about it. I think everybody that plays to that level has that aspiration, that dream. The collegiate opportunities were presented, but it's not the route I ended up taking. And looking back, it was one of the hardest decisions I made at that time was to step away from something I'd done my entire life and say, hey, let's go carve a new path. And that's, when I fell in love with fishing and all the things I do now. But still to do something your entire life and say, no, that's it, you're done. That was hard. But thankfully, I'm around it all the time. In a different matches, I was able to coach at the high school level for a season. I was able to be around it. We have a really cool opportunity in Sawmills coming up with a collegiate wood bat team that we're going to get to be around all summer. So, it all worked out. And that was the cool part about it.
Any regret there?
No. Not a single bit of regret. You think about those things, you lay in bed and I think, man, what if? I can't. I don't have it. I think back now, I was like, man, look at where I'm at. Look at where my family's at. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
So let me ask you, could you imagine life any different? Any regrets in just life in general, not baseball, but just in life in general? Anything you'd go back and change?
Not really. I was very fortunate to have the upbringing I had. I was able to, in fact, treat people well and be treated well in return. I always envisioned myself being here and being around people and working with people. I think becoming a father was, that adjustment was really hard for me. Not that I regret how I carried myself. I just wish going back now, I would do things a little bit differently. And I think if there's one, it's probably that. I feel like I struggled to love my wife well through that season early on, and everything she was going through and the adjustments there. And so regret-wise, that if there was one, that'd be that.
But nothing major as far as life-altering type of decision?
No, the good Lord put me where he wanted me, and I'm not going to question that.
So for the people who are watching who maybe don't know about Sawmills, about Parks and Recreation, what do you guys offer? What are events? What are programs that you guys offer?
Yeah.
Here?
So let's see. Right now, when this is being filmed, we're in the middle of signups for spring baseball, softball, t-ball. We do that in the spring and the fall. 2 different seasons. It's a huge driver in our community. We do some church softball. And we do one of our newest programs is flag football, youth flag football. It's in partnership with the NFL through their program NFL Flag. And we do that, and then we offer several events throughout the year. We know your standard. We have our Easter egg hunt. We have a ginormous trunk or treat now. It's on Halloween. We partner with some of the local churches to come in, and they do the trunks. We do hot dogs. We buy a bunch of candy, and it's become a huge driver in our community. But as far as events, the two biggest are called In the Park events. They're in spring and fall. This one upcoming is May 10th, and the other one's in second week in October. It's partnered with an event company In the Park events. We do vendors, we do live music, we do kids zone, food trucks, car show, Jeep show. It's just a great community event. It gets everybody together. There's no entry fee to be involved in it. Come and hang out and spend the day with us. And guess what? At 9 p.m. on those nights, we do a huge fireworks show.
That's so
We don't do fireworks on 4th of July because everybody else does them. Let's do something different. Why not do them? I want people to put on Facebook, hey, what's going on in Sawmills? It's the fireworks. Spring in the Park. You should come next year and watch them. So yeah, we do two of those events. Our Autumn in the Park event is we have a costume contest, a kids costume contest. We have a dog costume contest.
Oh my gosh.
Just trying to do different things. It's all about community. What can we get that people want to come out and be a part of? It's not nothing monetary. The vendors want the vendors to make money and stuff like that. But for us, it's just getting people together.
How impactful do you think some of those events are? I mean, let's talk about in the park events. Something I've been dying to be a part of. I really would like to get there for May. Did not know that you guys were part of that or one of the people running it. When you're coming up with these ideas and these events and something like In the Park comes up to you, like, what is that process of like? Is it like, do you have like a checklist you go through where it's like, it's good for the community. It can help bring awareness to Sawmills. It's something good for Sawmills. Like, what does that checklist look like if an event comes across your desk?
So really thankful. In the Park events it's its own entity. It's an event company that we partner with to help put on those events, and they're a lot of the brains behind the operation. They've helped put this event to where it is. Now, from our aspect of it, when we work together, coordinate, I want to do things that, yes, obviously gets the community together. But also, so like this upcoming one, we're going to have the Caldwell County Animal Care Enforcement out there with their adoption trailer.
Wow.
We've had the Blood Connection out there do blood donations. They do a separate scholarship fund for students going into college. Like, it's just different ways that we can support our community. Now, the planning process, thankful to have the partnership with them. They handle a large portion of it. But for us, it's just coordinating, what can we provide that's going to help them and have the most impact to the community and bring out people, especially the fireworks. People love fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong.
You
can have the worst event ever, firework night on the end of it. I mean, you're guaranteed people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then you talk about you do baseball, softball, and then flag football. Out of those three, what's your biggest like range of like the most people go to what?
Yeah, so our spring, baseball, softball, t-ball all culminated into one season is by far our biggest. It's the one that's when I say started with 48 and got to 285. That's that program. The flag football is growing. It's new. There's nobody in Caldwell County that offers that. They used to, but not right now. They don't. We had 100 and some kids our first season. Just had 130 last season.
Wow.
So it's growing. But along with that, so when I say growth, when you experience growth, you're going to experience growing pains. And we've experienced that, and we know where we need to make adjustments in every league. Like, that's why each season is new to me. It's how can we make it better? Where did we fail at last season? What can we perfect? And of course, there's hiccups and stuff that you're not going to be able to combat, but they're growing, and that's what means the most to me. They're growing.
And when you talk about growth, I think this is kind of full scale on everything we've talked about so far. It's one of the pinnacles of a small town like Sawmills. Growth. Everything that you do, the emphasis has to be on growth. How do we make this event the best thing ever to bring the most eyeballs to not only this event that we're doing, but to Sawmills? This t-ball season, this baseball season, this softball season, this flag football season. How do we make it the best possible to not only give the kids the best experience so that they and the parents, that's all they can talk about and they come back next year, but how does it help Sawmills? How much has your aspect on growth changed, and like that mindset of growth from when you got the position to where you are now? Because I can only imagine how much shorter that checklist has gotten, where it's like, this is great for Sawmills, or like we were talking before, it's like, what's that checklist look like? That has to be much shorter now, and you immediately go like, this is going to be amazing for Sawmills.
It's a learning curve. It's a learning process. You know, the initial phase when I was by myself was survival. You know, try to build it.
Yeah.
You know, when we were able to hire our first full-time staff, Daniel Bowman, that was a blessing. You know, his expertise, his knowledge, and just how he is as a person has been incredible to bring him in and to see it grow with that in our department. We just recently hired. It's almost 2 years. Garrison Burris, who's full-time with us as well. So 3 full-time staff and a plethora of part-time staff that are just absolutely incredible. And that's the growth has come from there, how they are. It ain't me. I'm here to give credit and take blame. They're the reason behind why this department's growing, this program's growing.
Yeah.
Because they're so passionate about what they do. You know, and that's always been if hiring the right people has been a big strong suit for me, and I've tried to make sure I do that, and I think we've hit the nail on the head with who we've got now.
Is this job everything that you expected it to be, or like what was your initial vision or thought process? Like, this is going to be X, Y, and Z to what it is now. Like, is it everything you thought it was going to be?
And so much more. And so much more. You know, the products we put out, the participants, the people that see it on social media or in person see 10% of what goes into it. What goes into building a good park? What goes into building a good program? The budgeting, the grants, the part-time staff recruitment and volunteer retention, getting coaches, getting the right coaches. You know, how we properly vetting those coaches, scheduling, coordinating with other municipalities. There's so many tiny, intricate things that are crucial to the process that nobody ever sees. And it's so extremely rewarding and so much more than I thought it was going to be. When you step into something like this, you're playing baseball, you're running leagues. I thought. I'm doing that. Well, we're doing that, but on such a bigger scale.
For someone who has never been to Sawmills, a random person coming into Sawmills or someone who just moved in, what would you, as someone who's a native to this area, what would you tell them to expect, and what makes Sawmills, specifically Sawmills, just this amazing place?
Expect it calm. Expect a calm. It's a calm, quiet place to live and raise your family. We're growing, it's good, but it's not this. It's the booming metropolis of Sawmills, right? Enjoy that. If you want a quiet, quaint place to raise your family, this is where you're gonna find it, with great amenities on top of it. Go experience our Veterans Park. Go on our 2.5 miles of brand new walking trail. Go experience that. Come watch a baseball game. Come watch a Sawmills Timber Kings College Woodbat game starting in May. It's a very, very exciting environment to be a part of. You know, go and experience the things about our. Come to our events. You know, that's why I highlight being a bedroom community. We put importance on our parks and recreation, our events, so you can enjoy these things when you're not working.
Last couple questions for you. Again, appreciate your time, and I loved our conversation. It's so cool to also like hear your thoughts and your perspective and your story. The next couple years of Sawmills.
Yeah.
What gets you excited, and what can people expect the next, let's call it 5 years?
Yeah. Now, granted, working in government, these things, my hopes, dreams, aspirations are based around leadership. And right now we have incredible leadership. That can change, not saying bad leadership, but different priorities, things like that. If it stays on the trajectory we're at now things we're actually actively doing right now, about to finish up. Here in the next month and a half, we'll have a completely brand new indoor batting facility for all of our participants for Sawmills Recreation. Wow. Strictly to them. It's a shell building at our office that was part of our old public works building that was used to house trucks and stuff. It was an open concept. We framed it in. We're outfitting it with batting cages, turf. We're going to have a hit tracks machine eventually, which you can literally step into this batting cage, and it's got a reader, a sensor, and you can hit on any major league field in the country, and it will track it for you as if you're hitting on that field. Yeah, I'm talking about getting fired up. I don't want to get fired up.
All right. Well, I mean, we got to do a video there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's endless opportunities.
Sweet.
And along with that, we're doing, so one thing we're doing is a completely separate parent room. So parents can go and do their thing while the kids practice, but you're still going to get to watch your kids practice because I'm going to have cameras in every batting cage, in every angle, and I'm going to live stream them to that room. So you can sit in there, relax on the couch, little kids area, separate for your little ones to play if they want to, and watch your child practice.
How big is this building?
It's a shell building. It's like 100 by 60, and we've cut it down to the actual indoor facility is about 58 by 50-ish, and then the back room of it is going to be a wrestling room. It's got wrestling mats, and we're going to do wrestling. So that's a project that is 75% completed. We're still waiting on a couple ins and outs to get done, IT, stuff like that, and then some outfitting of the nets and cages and stuff like that. So that's one thing.
So by the time this video comes out, this might be an actual thing. That's insane.
I pray it is, because hopefully by that point we're fully operational with it. So that's one. Another one that really, really fires me up is our new acquisition of the Sawmills Timber Kings. So that's formerly your Lenore Legends. It's a collegiate woodbat team, so college baseball players who are starting their seasons now. When they finish up their collegiate seasons, they go and play at different places throughout the country. It's woodbat. It's like Major League Baseball woodbat, and we have one now in Sawmills. They're going to be playing our Veterans Park, fully outfitted field. We've done a lot of renovations on it, a lot of work, brand new scoreboards. And it's the management group that runs the E4 Sports Management is really forward thinking. They have a lot of theme nights. They have a Bark in the Park, an 80s night. We do a Sawmills night, and there's so many different things. It's very, very event friendly, and it's not just go watch a baseball game. Come have an experience with us. Mm-hmm. So they've got 27 home games this summer, starting May 17th. They have a Fan Fest event on top of a exhibition game with our Caldwell County Post 29 American Legion team.
Wow. So
that's going to be a really good thing. I think it's going to be a really good driver for our community to get people into Sawmills and see what we have to offer. Because I'll tell you, probably 75% of the people that go down there for those games will never know that park was there. Yeah.
So Veterans Park, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
How excited does that get you for what the opportunity just looks like? Because, I mean, it seems like it's nothing but opportunity, especially for Sawmills.
I'm so fired up. Like, the fact that I could potentially, we're having a Sawmills, if you play for Sawmills Parks Recreation, we're having a night with them in May where you can come out. And the fact if I can put a collegiate baseball player that these kids look up to and put them in front of them and get them to watch them and interact with them, and, you know, that itself is worth its weight in gold to me. But on top of that, the town of Sawmills has something they can have pride in. You know, hey, they're the home of the Sawmills Timber Kings. This is they play in my community. I think once they see that and really see the product that's going to be delivered, it's going to be really, really successful. I hope.
That's so awesome. I think that's a big thing for a small town where it's like just getting an opportunity like that is massive, you know, because I didn't know Lenore Legends until I moved out here. Didn't know that was even like a thing or a concept, which just seems like a great concept to have like another opportunity for collegiate athletes to go and just it's more reps. It's really what
Absolutely.
it is, but give them that real game experience. When did that become like a thing? Was it like, what was the conversation looking like to like absorb them?
Yeah, this started in early fall. The acquisition and the transfer of that started in early fall, and we've since been working with them very closely to make sure we're ready come May 17th and game day. But it's been a quick turnaround. I think it's been a really, really good partnership, and I think it's gonna be very successful moving forward.
That's so awesome. I will be at a couple games this summer. I promise you that. I definitely want to check that out. Before I ask you the last question, is there anything that you would like to talk about, feel like maybe was left on the table, or anything you just want to tell people about Sawmills in general?
Dude, I think we've hit it.
That's what I'm saying.
Sawmills is growing. We've got a property we're holding to develop on in the future, where we can hopefully build a rec center and stuff like that we don't have. And I've got an acre pond on the property. We fully stocked with fish, so we can do kids fishing leagues, kid fishing days.
Wow.
All sorts of different things. Because not everyone wants to play baseball.
No.
Everyone wants to play soccer. What else can we do for people that don't want to do traditional sports? I'm a bass fisherman. I love it. So different things like that. So there's a lot of really exciting things in the future, and I want people to know that, it's gonna be a hub for recreation in our area.
So the goal one day, obviously it might be years down the line, but to have like how Hudson or like Granite has like a rec center.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
That's so awesome. I mean, and Sawmills deserves it. You guys are just a great town. Everybody I've spoken to who is from or is in Sawmills or does business in Sawmills, whichever the case is, has nothing but great things to say about Sawmills. So that must just be amazing to be a part of a community that is full of amazing people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably makes your job a heck of a lot easier.
It does. It does. Great leadership, working with great people. We have a great staff. It's a very family-oriented staff. We sit down at Thanksgiving lunch together as a staff. We go to Christmas lunch together as a staff. It's a great atmosphere to be a part of. And I work with really great people.
And then the absolute last question, before I ask about social media and like the website for people to reach out if they want to participate, for someone just going through life, someone watching this out there, what's the best piece of advice that you can give them right now?
Put your faith in God. Know that He has a bigger plan for you. What you may be doing now, you may be in the darkest point of your life. There's hope. There's a way out, and God provides that way for you. I put my faith in Him and trust Him and trust His plan, and He's never steered me wrong. I may not understand sometimes, but there's always a why at the end.
Random question I just thought of because you mentioned bass fishermen before. How does that grow your patience?
I have with the advance. So it's funny with the advancement of technology in bass fishing, we now have a type of sonar that we can actually in live feed watch the fish come up and you can watch it eat your bait. It's really incredible technology and it's really really fun to use. But if I'm sitting here and I see a huge pile of fish and I'm just dangling my bait and they're just like, I'm good. Yeah, that tests the patience. That tests the patience, man. But,
oh man! So I brought that up because you were talking about fishing. I'm like, fishing is the most patient-driven sport ever.
Yeah.
Ever. There's what's the saying? You're not called a catcher. You're called a fisher.
Yeah.
Something like that. But definitely tested the patience. I'm not the best fisherman either.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. And then the absolute last thing. Social media for Sawmills, website. How can people reach out if they want to? I don't know. Support. First off, are there ways if maybe they don't have a kid to be in the sport, or maybe they do? How can people sponsor? How can people reach out? How can people support the town of Sawmills?
Yeah.
Go into that.
It's really thankful. Come and volunteer with us. Come and be a part of what we have to offer.
Yeah.
It's not about monetary. It's about be involved with our community.
100%.
You pass a background check, you're good, man. Let's get involved. let's be a part of it. So that's always a good way to get involved. As far as finding us though, sawmillsrec.com. You'll see we've got billboards all with now 321. That's how you stay on track. Facebook Sawmills, Town of Sawmills. That's always good ways to connect with us. Usually you'll find my cell phone on our website. Call me. I'm gonna answer the phone. I want to talk to people. That's the beauty of the job, getting to people all the time.
100%. Well, last thing for me, man, I appreciate your time and your friendship. You've been nothing but just an absolute superstar since I've met you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I know we kind of went all over the place, but you're a man of many different titles, many different things that you got going on. You're an absolute superstar, and I wish you the best, and Sawmills the best in the future. But that was another Lifting Love podcast. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. And one more time for our sponsor, Lake Hickory Pub Marina, where lake and life meet. But until next time, like I said, subscribe. But most importantly, lift love, crush hate. Just like that, we out.